I got an unexpected problem in the bathroom. And by that I mean, and by that I mean that the AC installation guys left the window there. Um, and the problem with the window there that they left is that now there's a swarm of flies in my bathroom, and don't get me wrong, it's not stinky in there. It's not like my girlfriend is on her vacation, but doesn't mean I don't clean up. It's not like that. It's just we have the same swarm of flies in our uh, hallway as well, in the hallway of the building, because they left a window there when they were getting outside and mounting the external block of the AC system. So yeah, had to deal with that for a moment. Okay, the SVG thing. So for those of you who don't remember or who don't know, some time in the past, I realized that you could take the one of our friends got a new user pick for them. Yeah, Federico is now officially a Codan, so it's an interesting transition from being a community champion to being a employee at Coda. I hope that Federico remembers that I used to send some clients his way without expecting any cut on that, and will lobby my interests before the Coda folks. If I ask for a feature, I'll have a voice in the not the parliament in Coda to lobby it for me. Okay, this is all fun and giggles, but really happy for Federico. He's a great engineer. I hope he's going to be a very great asset at Coda. It's also another thing that's very funny. Jean-Pierre on our said somewhere, so he congratulated Federico and told he will finally work with real clients, as if implying that I am not working with real clients if I'm not a Coda. Interesting, but again, this is all fun and giggles, just commenting on the recent the things that are happening around. This is more of an intimate stream for Patreon. Yeah, it's a public stream, but still. Yeah, premium templates. Back to our premium templates. So yeah, I was going to find that SVG thing. Didn't think about seeing the promotion of Federico this way. What did you mean? So if I'm not mistaken, he's a solutions architect, and the solutions architect role is basically saying they were collecting a team internally at Coda to help their most valued customers. So they are not helping everyone, but they don't have resources for that. They are sending those folks my way and the way of other consultants and the way of make a post in the community and see who responds to it. So this is how it happens. Also, some of the folks send some of the clients my way directly, but again, never asked them to. It's their own goodwill, and I'm thankful for that they send them my way. By the way, I'm accepting clients again because I have a person whom I can delegate work to. So yeah, back on track, because again, the 2 hours will be too little. I think I do have only 2 hours today, right? Because I have a call scheduled after that. Community, what do calendar. I was looking for the calendar. Yeah, I have there I have the yeah. Wait a sec, you had the same thought with Jean-Pierre. What do you mean by that? So real clients. Am I a joke to you? I work with real clients. and I don't actually, I enjoy it, keeping it that way. I'm not like not jealous or anything. I know Coda were asking me sometime in the past whether I wanted to join them, but no, I'm really happy if whoever wants to work with Coda works at Coda. I'm happy to not be a full-time employee anytime because I can be flexible about what I'm doing. Like I decided to step down from work for a few months. I took a break. I started doing Patreon, and if I were to join Coda, I would be in conflict of interests. I would not be able to work with clients like on my own terms. I would be like if so. Yeah, this works for me now, and yeah, this is where I want to be now. Have my own agency and all that. But I'm really happy if well, Federico was looking forward to it, looking forward to working with Coda. This is perfect. So everyone in the end gets where they want to be, and honestly. So yeah, but that thing about real clients, that was fun because yeah, real clients apparently consult. Okay, still not sure what that means. Consulting, working with, it's the same, no? I mean, I'm not like consulting, I'm giving them lectures. I'm building docs for people, I'm trying to figure out what their businesses are. So this is my work for clients. I uh, don't just fix small problems usually. I try to figure out what the workflows are, and well, maybe even it's the other way around. Maybe as a solution architect. It's, okay, we don't know. I don't know. Federico will. I hope Federico will not distantiate himself from us. He will tell us what he is doing at his new role, because it's really interesting for me. I know a few clients actually complained to me that Code internally didn't have resources to allocate to helping them, and that's why they had to come to me, or Coda sent them my way, or they had to come to me because Coda internally didn't have these resources. Then I know of some clients who received help from Coda. Either it was a while ago when Coda was not still this huge, was much smaller, and they could afford to help this or that client and build a thing or two for them. And even now I just got, yesterday I was on a call with a client who has one of our friends from the Coda team on the admins list, so they were helping them as well. So it was interesting to see a Coda on a list of people who can unlock the dock. So in a way, I also think it's an older dock or something. But anyway, it's all connected. In the end, what matters is that customers get happy with using Coda. They can make the workflows they dreamed of. They can use Coda for a long period of time. They don't have to think of switching for a while, at least until they grow big and they can afford to make a totally bespoke solution using the traditional code or using something else. So that Coda solves that immediate pain point for them. So in the end, that's what matters. And for me, what matters is that I'm applying myself. I can provide for my, well, to be family, or well, for myself, for my girlfriend, for our well-being. We can plan for the future. I can eventually step down from sitting at the computer all the day. So this is what matters to me. And yeah, everyone's gonna be happy in the end. Okay, the SVG, back to the SVG. It was, again, me talking and ranting and rumbling about all things in the world. The SVG, yeah, you can have your code. So what is SVG? Scalable Vector Graphics. It's something that you can, it's the images that can be scaled, of course, because it's just the instructions of what to draw. Draw me a circle at these coordinates, draw me a line at these coordinates, draw me an animation like this. I'm still mind blown by how this is created with only this much of the code. So it's like 3D animation, and that's the only code for it. And it seems like too just too little code for an animation like this. So it gives this perspective, and the train is going in all these turns and twists, and then there's the how do you call this thing? Like the barrier opening up and closing down. So this is fascinating. But what's important for us is that first you're specifying all this not with pixels, not with like draw this dot in this color, but you're specifying it with drawing instructions, like put a rectangle at this place, put a text here and there. And in the end, what I created and what was effectively mind-blowing for folks at Coda and folks at the community and folks everywhere is that out of the data we have some is the SVG kind of like JSON? Not really, but in a way that these are some look, how do you say that? So you describe data, right? There is multiple ways to describe data. JSON is one of those ways where you have a structure, you have a way of describing some data as keys and values, and those values can also be smaller structures, bigger structures, lists of objects, but in the end it's key to the value, and you have some rules about how you specify these keys and values. There's other ways to specify these. So there is, well, JSON. It's like this. There's YAML. We don't talk about YAML much because it's not used in Coda. It's not used. It's not used in. Someone's calling me. Just a sec. I need to take this because it's from my landlord. Okay. Okay, back to ours. So yeah, there's different ways to describe the data, and one of the older ones was XML, and XML is when you have these tags and instead of key value properties like you have here, you have these things, and there's more to it than that, but what's important is that XML is like a grandparent of the HTML that you may have seen when you were working with websites. Virginie, you used to do that. And also SVG also uses the XML, so it's an XML-like syntax. So that's why, that's the similarity. These are different ways of describing structured data. So one with tags, with nested tags, one with keys and values, and it's, by the way, it's not the correct way to show it, not really the correct way, because these things have to be in quotes, in double quotes, really. Yeah, more like this. And okay, I think I lost track of it. Yeah, there's YAML. So yeah, these are the different ways to describe data. And SVG is pretty much a subset of XML, a specific case of an XML-based syntax, which is something that the browser takes natively and renders it as an image. capable of rendering an SVG as an image. And that's the whole point of that trick. You can feed, so usually what the browser expects a URL of an image, which is a link to where the image is stored in the internet. So it's a link to the image. But there is this thing where you, instead of the image link, you can encode it already, the data. You can encode it already, specify the data URI, specify this, instead of HTTP something, 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 you specify that it's a data, it has the text, the type of like text plain or image PNG or image SVG or whatever. And then you have the data right here, either encoded as base64 or encoded as URL encoded way. By the way, Coda added the base64 implementation now, so you can, instead of doing that, let's actually get started to just implement things. So we have a table. Let's just start, yeah, implementing things for now. Let me open the mind map, because I'll be using pieces of this mind map doc for the helpers. For instance, these templates, I don't want to rebuild this from scratch. So here I'm using the URL encoded version, and I'm URL encoding it with a bunch of, I'm splitting it down into each character, then I'm evaluating each character, and in a switch, I'm replacing these sensitive characters with their URL encoded versions, because the default way to URL encode things in Coda doesn't work. Now they've added the base64 conversion functions, so we can actually do it with base64 instead of this, and save ourselves some trouble, and maybe this is going to be a more performant approach to the whole thing. But okay, let's start. So let's put our, yeah, let's have our let's do it like this. So we will have our helpers, Santa helpers, right? We'll just put them in here. And this is gonna be our SVG Playground. Yeah, we have this top level root of the SVG, and instead of URL encoding it, we can actually now, so what I did previously, I created I pre-encoded pieces of this, so that whenever I create a complete picture, it doesn't have to recalculate this conversion every time. But right now I think I can just have this raw SVG to base encode as base64, and it gives us the base64 for this, and the image we can actually now, let me also take this chart helper out of it. So we have our chart. We don't care about these things for now. No items to render. The composed SVG, that's where I was combining all the pre-encoded things, so that I encode each individual thing once, and then I just combine these things together. There was a problem if I wanted to type in some text and it had things to encode. I had to encode them separately. So I can even omit that. Ooh, gosh, no, no, no. I'm editing the wrong doc. So no. I should close that one. So our composed SVG, we can actually have it in a non-encoded way. So this is gonna be our... What I like doing now for this column is that this column should have the code block formatting. The reason for that is when I try and type in something like G transform and type in the and I type in the quotes, it turns them into typographic quotes, but these are not the valid quotes. It should use the inches number for the quotes. I would have to go and copy and replace these quotes, with the straight quotes. But to avoid this automatic conversion, you can turn this from the paragraph type into code block type. And now when you code block type, okay, need to type in something first. So I make it a code block type, and I make it a rectangle of width 100, height 50, and I could close it like this, but if there is nothing inside the tag, I can close it like this. So let's say our composed SVG is, we take the SVG root raw SVG and we insert the content. We insert the rectangle as the first parameter, and we have our width is like 200. Let's hard code 300 for it now. So this is our full composed SVG for the thing. Why didn't it insert the rectangle? So we have this oh yeah, but it did. I just didn't notice it. And then we can take this composed SVG and convert it to encode as base 64. And in our image, there's going to be an image with a URL of data. I don't know, what's the type of the SVG? SVG meme type is either text. Oh, image SVG plus XML is the correct type. Image SVG plus XML, semicolon, base 64. And I think at that point there is a comma, and we concatenate the column 6 to it. And we have our image with width, let's be it 600 by 400. And there's our rectangle, and fill color is red. No, it doesn't work like that. Just fill red, stroke black, X 10, Y 20. So this pretty much already looks like a playground. We just need some nicer interface for it, so that you can add these pieces and edit them, and perhaps see some sort of a live version of this. So instead of having two columns, you have some nicer interface around it. So that was my whole idea. You have some outer level component, then you can have a rectangle, then you can have something like a XY slider to slide it, put it in different places of an image uh, more easily than editing a value somewhere in the code, so that you could try build out different elements of your interface, and then you could reuse those pieces, to build something actually useful, like maybe a data or, well, so yeah. Um, I feel like I need a short break before in a way I'm getting a bit hungry. So I don't know what to do actually, because it's 5:30. The stream is for the next 1.5 hours. I need to go get some water, so I'll probably make a break for 5 minutes, and then I'll sit down and start playing around with this SVG Playground. How far we can take it. So yeah, 5 minute break. Where's my Pomo focus? Okay, I'm here. Let me just install my mic back. So, here's what I'm thinking. Let me maybe work for just one Pomodoro for now. Let's see how far it goes, because the weather is so damn fine. It looks like so damn fine. I actually want to go for a walk. I didn't have much chance to go outside today. So yeah, I think that would be really helpful for me to do today if I have time to go for a walk. So one Pomodoro, 50 minutes. What I'm done in 50 minutes, that I share with patrons. So let's stop talking, start building. Let me find the music that I wanted to play, the Brain FM thing. Like not the let's make it not the 50 minutes. Let's make it 60, full 60 minutes, 1 hour worth of doing things. If I'm done faster, great. If I am not done, then shame on me. 60 minutes, deep work. Let's go. Really be nice is to be able to type in the code on the left and have the image on the right. So let's maybe try that. Oh, yeah, I saw your message. No, don't, you don't have to apologize. It's, well, it's just fun ways that people expressed what they expressed. Uh, Absolutely no offense taken, nothing. Like, confident enough in what I'm doing to not be offended by anything like that. Um, Okay, I have experiments, and then I have a resulting. Actually, this is my interface because, well, okay, a few things I'm thinking about. Whether to have them on the experiments or whether to have them on some internal templates for the building blocks. So we have the experiments and it's actually, we still need the templates, so let's so I guess, yeah, I just created a code block with no content. But to do that, I had to first, so you cannot just select nothing and turn that into a oh, yeah, you can. Now you can. But first you could not. For some reason it didn't give me that possibility to take the empty value and just change the paragraph type. So we need this because wherever we are gonna add a new experiment, we want this to be already pre-populated with the formatted. Yeah, so whenever I add a new experiment, it already pre-populates this with a gosh, no, but it wants me to overwrite that. So, but if that did have a space in it, what would happen then? Nah, it offers to overwrite it. Okay. yes, we still have pixels. We cannot specify like I don't know if you can specify width and height and view box in millimeters. So it's an interesting. Yeah, then everything has to be in millimeters. But in a way, you can. The thing is, though, is when you export or when you look at something in the screen, these may appear of different sizes. So G transform, translate to. So for each experiment, we want to be able with Coda to move it around the canvas that we are given. So the experiments to render, that's going to be our there's going to be all experiments. We need this for the subtable. I'm wondering if we can transform translate by percent. That would be interesting. Are these just, yeah. We'll figure it out if we can, well, use percent here. Yeah, we wrap each group with, I mean, every piece of the SVG code that we are going to type in our experiment, we're going to wrap with this G transform, the group that we can move, so that we could easily, with some sliders, move the thing on the screen to a different place on the canvas, because again, this is a playground. We want to be able to try experiment with something rectangle, something, and then move it out in another corner to give us some space to add some other content. So this was my idea all along. Then we, in our render, we take the SVG root, here will go the content, width and height is canvas width, canvas height, or actually a resulting image, width and height, and this is like here we're gonna render enabled experiments, rendered code, and concatenate everything together. Yeah, so like this. Okay, I actually turned it up, the volume of the music, so let me turn it back down. Is it better or too quiet now? could also make it a bit more compact, because in my original I was removing the extra spaces that, well, we didn't need those spaces. I mean, after a comma we don't need a space, after a so between the non-word characters we don't need spaces really, but that was because I wanted to save up to 3 characters on each encode of these spaces, so they were like unnecessary really. And here we could actually, well, we could actually just, yeah, let them stay. So now this image is and our image, our preview is image from the width and the height is set in the image itself. Yeah, looks like the transform doesn't really, the translate doesn't really work as I expected with percent. But it works like this, so the only thing I'm wondering is why it's in the middle of the image and not in the top, or, well, what's wrong with the coordinate system? Ah, I know what's wrong with the coordinate system. It's the fact that we are putting a we are putting our portrait view box onto a big page, so it's gonna be, the width is something like this. But this even better is just to roll with like 800 pixels by 600 pixels, and width is the same, 600, 800, and now it's okay. Oh, we can put SVG in SVG for the translation. Okay, let's try that. Cool. Well, obviously we want to work with this in the full screen when we are actually playing around with it. So yeah, this is meant to be like a smaller preview and a bigger. Oh yeah, center X, center Y, Y, radius. Where's the add row button? How to automatically add rows to this subtable? Well, it's a full subtable of, well, of everything. What's wrong with you? Okay, this is something workable actually. There you have our image. And we can print it. And there's your Patreon logo, almost. That was missing from the page icons. Yeah, I'm pretty much amused with and can start building something like a calendar. As I said, I wanted to make a calendar for the for another Patreon doc. What I'd like to use, maybe we still have some time, I would like to use the grid. Oh, and this thing of course should wrap so that we can edit the whole thing. Wish we could make the preview a bit small, a bit larger. Not like half the page, but not like absolute minimum either. This thing is still very fiddly. Okay, seems like it's larger now. Because yeah, we don't need that much space for the code. We have a larger preview now. What we cannot do though, it's not a multi-column setup, so we cannot have things here. We'll have to put our other stuff like the canvas settings, width, height, image width, height in the very bottom. But that's okay. keys are now in the bottom of these two things. And we can have something like a code to copy, like full SVG in the end. But then again, we don't need to show this because I want to add some things like maybe it's not a Patreon logo, it's something that looks like a Patreon logo. Maybe it's a R logo that is a different company and all. What I was trying to say, I think of maybe adding some grid lines, something like that, so some outline for the SVG, something that you could turn on. So a grid of a sort. We're making vertical lines and we are making horizontal lines. So from 0 to canvas height, with the step of the sequence, we make the 0 current value, canvas width, current value. So if we enable the grid, this is the grid that we have. And otherwise it's a blank thing. Pull SVG to render. We concatenate the list of these things, and we SVG, and we take the grid to it. Yeah, with the only difference that, okay, we have the grid now, but see how the grid is on both pixels. I mean, it has the stroke width of 1, but it's like on half the pixel, because what the stroke does, it puts the line, the thin hairline, right on the coordinate, but then it has the width of 1, which means it goes half the pixel to the left and half the pixel to the right. That's why instead of being crisp 1 pixel wide and maybe darker, it is more transparent. It's two transparent pixels, like half the transparency of the thing. So one way to fix that is to simply in our templates add this correction to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5. And now it's gonna be a bit to the bottom, a bit to the right, but it's gonna be like crisp, like really crisp. Not sure why it's not crisp here. Oh, wow, because this is the tab that got opened. So now it's crisp. Yeah, we don't see the like the bottom and the rightmost lines because now they are off the screen. But, well, this is what you get. Yeah, this dragging thing is really something. It's like not exactly, it's not giving you exactly the quarter. It's not giving you exactly the third. It's not landing on where the cursor lands, so it's, yeah. This thing is buggy as hell. Okay, let's, well, have it like this. Okay, okay. We'll of course lock it. so that we don't have these options floating in the top. Okay, pretty much what I was going to do. So that, for instance, I can take this. Well, what else I can do with it? I can make it like a multi-project, multi something, so that you have not just the one picture that you want to work on, but multiple pictures. Since we still have 12 minutes, why not have that? And yeah, 1 of 1, there's gonna be 1 of 2, 1 of 3. So oh, you are interested in how I build the calendar for the Get Things Done. So I could take some time doing that, actually. I could actually take some time doing that. Yeah, calendar as SVG, because the playground's pretty much ready. That's the extent of how far I wanted to go with it, really. I can, well, maybe make multiple charts. Maybe I could even do something like, since there's too much space, I could this display layout do the left navigation for the charts. This is locked, so we don't see the ugly scroll bar. The experiments are now cloned, so like we don't really have a way to so let's connect each experiment to the chart. And let's do it like each chart is individual, so that we don't reuse the same experiments. We don't like modify the test in one chart and then it modifies everywhere else. So if we want, I can add a capability to duplicate the chart, but it will also duplicate all the experiments in that chart. We can do it like that. So this is now gonna be filtered by chart, this row. Enabled experiment is gonna not filter by all, but take the ones from all experiments. The chart for these ones are this. And another thing that I thought of maybe replicating, of adding, okay, I have 8 minutes, is for each experiment to add something like repeat this piece with like this many times. So yeah, let's say I'm building a calendar. I want to be able to tile it, like repeat like 5 times, repeat 10, 20 times with this step, something like this, something I could add to it. So that I don't have to repeat it myself. So okay, that's the next thing that I'm gonna do. So the chart, first thing I want to, at this point I'm not adding the duplicate the chart thing, but I'd rather spend these 7 minutes to do something like, yeah, the repeat thing. So yeah, the code is, oh yeah, we need some defaults for the charts, right? So the actually this has to be a number. Because we are running it in a loop. So yeah, it's gonna be sequence of one to x times if blank 1, name current x copy, sequence from 1 to y times if blank 1 with name current y. And we are gonna put the SVG code, and we are gonna still wrap it in a group to translate by this many -1, because if it's the first group, the offset should be 0. So that's why I'm subtracting 1 by offset. Could just as well have a sequence from 0 to times -1, so it doesn't really matter here or there. Okay, what we want to have this rectangle 3 times with okay, the music has ended, which means okay, did it work? Okay, we got not a number at some point, so we have the oh yeah, formula map. Where's the formula map? I'm just taking the whole sequence and setting with name to it. So of course, formula map current value with name. Same here. Formula map current value with name. Luckily, an easy fix. So, and suddenly our preview doesn't work. So, yeah, because I never concatenated the result. So it's this combine and concatenate. Otherwise, it just fills out the properties of the format function. yeah, now you have this 3 times, 4 times with offset. And now we can think of creating our calendar, right? So we could have a chart with the width of 297 millimeters and a height of 1 millimeters, which is A4, and the canvas width would be 297 pixels and height would be 210 pixels. So yeah, in a way, something like this. We grid step, we cannot really, yeah, we need to do it in pixels. So each centimeter here still makes these big. Because yeah, we have now a lines as thick as a millimeter. We don't really think this through that well. We have something like a rectangle. Width of 50 millimeters, height of like 25 millimeters. Seems a bit small for like. Oh yeah, because of the conversion. We cannot just then use millimeters here. We need to use pixels everywhere. Need the grid. Still too wide. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do the calendar now, but I just hope that you get the idea of what we are, how we can approach this thing. And 5 times 4, 35. And then we, of course, translate this whole thing by some group, and then we add the labels to the appropriate days. But this is more not for creating a calendar, this particular experiment, but for instance, designing a particular cell in a calendar or designing a header. So this is like, of course, this is just, yeah, this is not accurate because these are percent. It's gonna take some fiddling to get this centered with percent, but well, that's not the point. The point is that you have something to play with and see the end result right here. So you have the code on the second monitor. I add myself some help for the by the way, am I not missing anything? It's 6:44. Okay, I still have some like not so much time to go for a walk, unfortunately, but okay. That's less than an hour. So yeah, I think this is the experiment, and this is all I imagined I would do. So I could make this a group of like a rectangle of this, then a rectangle of the same And of course, this is not the only way to work with SVG. You can do it with CSS properties. You could style SVG elements with CSS properties. There's a lot to it, actually. So something like black backfill opacity is 0.2. You could have your dates there or something, and I mean, this is a playground, right? So a much better playground would be, of course, an app where you can actually draw some vector graphics and export it as SVG. So if you need something, like if you really need to go with something with something well, nice, that you have nice tools like your Photoshop like tools, the pen tool, the layers and all these things. Of course, you can do this in an editor, export it as SVG, then take pieces of it and reuse them in Coda. This is more for like ad hoc experimenting, where you try out the basic things and you see the result on the preview on the right. So yeah, this was the idea of this experiment, and actually I'm pretty happy with how we managed to finish this in time. Yeah. So yeah, at this point I'm gonna stop my stream. Hopefully this was interesting. I'll share the doc with my patrons as soon as I maybe make some, well, or maybe I will not make anything. I will not make any videos for it. I will not make any like demos for it. It's gonna be as is. I just, yeah, go and share it. Actually, well, I'll just share it for not for anyone with the link, because that would mean I said I need some interface for collecting your emails, so that I could share only with the subset of people I intend to share this with, not with everyone by link, because the stream itself is public. Anyone could see the doc ID. Or you could just request edit access. I copy the doc link, but I don't share it with anyone with the link. Or I could add you all to the premium templates folder. So any approach would work. Yeah, I'll start my stream now. I'll stop my stream now. I'll go get something to eat because I'm pretty starving. And yeah, see you. What else do I have on the live stream schedule? So tomorrow I don't have anything. I'm not streaming anything. I think the formula fundamentals, I'm not going to stream them either. I'll be probably busy with either finishing some client work or busy with some of the Patreon docs, which I will not stream. I'll just take time to do whatever I feel like I need doing, or maybe I'll travel tomorrow. That's also a possibility, even though unlikely. And on Thursday, I'm gonna finish the Pomodoro tracker. I actually found someone from Coda told me there is a more elegant way to get the title changing. You didn't have to create lots of pages. You could rename a page, but you had to do it through the API. Well, you had to do this through CrossDoc. So in CrossDoc, apparently you have this action to edit or update page, and you can change its properties, you can change the icon, you can change the title. So this is like another way to do the same thing. Maybe it will have a larger delay, but if we only need the title to change once in a minute, maybe this is a way to go. This is a way worth trying out. So yeah, with that, peace out.